The Rat Pack may have looked like the ultimate Hollywood dream team, but behind the scenes, things weren't so picture-perfect. In fact, the feuds among these guys were intense enough to wreck friendships, destroy careers, and forever change the landscape of showbiz. Here's what really went down when the cameras stopped rolling. The term Rat Pack was actually coined by Lauren Bacall. After one of her husband Humphrey Bogart's infamous late-night Vegas outings with his friends, she saw the disheveled group and joked, "You look like a goddamn rat pack." And so, the name stuck. Back in the day, Bogart and Bacall's house was where Hollywood's elite would gather to party, with the likes of Errol Flynn, Ava Gardner, and Nat King Cole making regular appearances. But when the 60s rolled in, the group evolved into what we know today as the Rat Pack, led by none other than Frank Sinatra, with key members Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford. From the get-go, Peter Lawford stood out from the rest of the crew. Unlike his fellow Rat Pack members, Lawford wasn't a singer or dancer. He was an actor, and a British one at that. But despite his lack of musical talent, Lawford managed to carve out a successful career for himself. He started at Elstree Studios in England before making a name in Hollywood in the 1940s and 1950s, becoming one of the highest-paid actors by his late 20s. His breakout role alongside Mickey Rooney in A Yank at Eton put him on the map, and his follow-up performance in Good News earned him critical praise. Known for his dashing good looks and impeccable style, Lawford became the epitome of Hollywood glamour. One of his most iconic appearances was in Ocean's 11. Still, despite his success, Lawford never quite matched the star power of his mentor, Cary Grant. And though he wasn't the group's most talented member, he brought something invaluable to the Rat Pack: powerful connections. In 1954, Lawford married Patricia Kennedy, the sister of John F. Kennedy. This gave him direct ties to one of the most powerful families in America. Lawford and the Rat Pack supported JFK's political campaign, with Sinatra even nicknaming him Brother-in Lawford and leveraging Lawford's connections for personal gain. But this is where things took a turn. Lawford promised Sinatra that JFK would stay at Sinatra's Palm Springs estate during a visit. Sinatra, excited at the prospect, even built a helipad for the president's helicopter. But at the last moment, JFK's advisors warned him against staying there, citing Sinatra's alleged mob connections. Instead, JFK stayed with Bing Crosby. Sinatra was furious. In a fit of rage, he destroyed the helipad and severed all ties with Lawford, cutting him out of the Rat Pack. The two never spoke again, except briefly when Sinatra's son was kidnapped in 1963, and Sinatra reached out to Lawford's brother-in-law, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, for help. Lawford's career never recovered after his falling out with Sinatra. Without Sinatra's backing, his acting roles dried up, and his personal life crumbled. His marriage to Patricia Kennedy ended in divorce in 1966, a few years after JFK's assassination. He spiraled into alcohol and drug abuse, seeking solace in women and substances as his Hollywood star faded. The fallout between Sinatra and Lawford marked the beginning of the end for the Rat Pack's golden era. Lawford, who had been instrumental in bringing the Kennedy political dynasty into the Rat Pack's orbit, became an outcast. Sinatra felt personally betrayed by Lawford's failure to deliver on his promise, and the incident strained not only their friendship but the group's cohesion as a whole. Without Sinatra's protection, Lawford's acting career suffered immensely. Sinatra even went so far as to reduce Lawford's role in Ocean's 11 and cut him entirely from the film Robin and the Seven Hoods, replacing him with Bing Crosby. Lawford's fall from grace was swift and unforgiving, and he spent the rest of his life in decline, overshadowed by the very connections that had once elevated him. He remarried several times, but each relationship ended in disaster. His final marriage lasted just 2 months before his death in 1984. Lawford succumbed to kidney and liver failure after years of hard living. In a final, tragic twist, his ashes were scattered into the Pacific Ocean from a boat paid for by the National Enquirer in exchange for exclusive coverage of the event. Lawford wasn't the only Rat Pack member to face Sinatra's wrath. Joey Bishop, the group's comedian, also found himself on the wrong side of Sinatra. It all started when Sinatra asked Bishop to fill in for him at the Cal Neva Lodge, a casino Sinatra co-owned. Feeling that he was now a star in his own right, thanks to the success of the Rat Pack, Bishop made excessive demands. He wanted a $50,000 fee and a private jet. Sinatra, who valued loyalty above all else, was livid. He hung up on Bishop and promptly cut him from future Rat Pack projects, including Robin and the Seven Hoods. The rift between the two men never fully healed. Bishop felt he was often underappreciated, viewed as secondary to Sinatra, Martin, and Davis Jr., despite his contributions to the group's success. In later years, Bishop didn't hide his frustration over how things went down. He mentioned how it bothered him when people downplayed his role in the Rat Pack, claiming he just kissed up to Sinatra. Bishop admitted that it stung, and while he knew he came off as bitter, he felt like he had every right to be. "I know I sound bitter, but I have a right to," he said. Despite their animosity, those close to Bishop said he still held affection for Sinatra, but the damage to their friendship was irreparable. Like Lawford, Bishop's career never again reached the heights it had during the Rat Pack's glory days.